Hey, my people, I am unprepared, and this is the best way to prepare myself. Nietzsche, he was saying the same. Today I was watching a Sunday service, like something religious, and I can link it in the description. And the apostle said that mysteries are around God and they belong to God. So every mystery belongs to God and is close to his throne, in his space, room, whatever, his possession. But when it is revealed, it comes to our realm. When a revelation, if you have a revelation, then it belongs to you and your children. That's what he said. And today, to me, was revealed a basic understanding of Nietzsche's Ubermensch. Yes, and this is very extreme thing. The Ubermensch is extreme because Nietzsche is extreme, and the Ubermensch is one of the most extreme things that Nietzsche coined, the most extreme ideas and terms of him. So it's an extreme of an extreme. And Nietzsche's work in general, if you see all his books, they are like a circle of thick thorns and not very accessible at the beginning. And if you want to read and understand Nietzsche, you need goodwill. You don't have goodwill, right? Then you will also, and you need to have worked with your ego and your personality, probably some shadow work, if you are not on a certain level. Everything you read in Nietzsche will be, you will, on the first place, simply be confused and not understand it, but also feel triggered and say, this is wrong what he says, this, it will hurt you inside. It is brutal. Nietzsche is brutal, but he's right with what he says. Yeah. And to get a basic understanding of the Ubermensch, you need to remember we're living in a reversed let me say reversed society, in a toxic society. And this is because, there were times in the history of mankind, there were cultures, there were periods when personal development and education in terms of values and virtues and what is right or wrong was important and was of interest of the state. So the state was interested that the people, the citizens, work and invest in personal development, in education, learn to articulate, learn about virtues, think about what is right and wrong. It could be religiously influenced, it could be philosophically influenced. And there were periods in time where this was in a high regard and was interest of the society. And of course, such a society can be healthy. But in our society, it's all about money and competition. And all status is derived from this. So status has nothing to do with personal development, knowledge, or righteousness, things like that. Status has simply to do with money and certificates. And also, in this toxic environment that society creates, money is extracted in form of taxes from the citizens. And the money is reinvested not in... this money is not invested in personal development, which would be necessary for the people to stand a toxic environment without becoming more and more toxic and sick and sicker and more toxic. So we're living in a society where a high degree of toxicity is accumulated already in all people and families because it gets passed on from parent to children. So the people going in the same circles. And what our system in Germany does is we have a social system which is better than nothing, but it simply tries to treat the symptoms of the toxicity, not the root cause, such as old school medicine does. It treats symptoms. It rather, gives you a painkiller, a medicine, or, something to make the symptoms go away, but not the cause for the problem. And I understand this partially because we can, of course, not force people. We have privacy, and we cannot interfere with individuals too much. We cannot go to them and say, all right, we're taking you out. You're a toxic personality. We believe you have a disorder. Let us do a brain scan and let a psychologist diagnose you. And then we will give you in the trusted hands of some Mzwakhe. He will re-traumatize you in order to improve your narcissistic personality disorder. No, I understand we cannot do this. I fully understand that. But this just explains why we are living in the toxic society, because it is based on competition and money, and all status derives from that. And personal development, virtues, and principles, and ethical questions are of a very, very secondary interest. Yes. And this also means why the world is so godless. Okay? Because God is no more present in people, in the way they think and act. They only chase money and status, which is basically the same. And this is where the broken families come from. This is where the traumatized negative people come from. The cancer comes from, all the sicknesses, the anger. Look out in the streets, the people you meet. Look at their faces. Look the way they act. The mental health pandemic is coming. Yes, it's here. And we are not fighting the causes, the root causes of it. No, it's not interesting. We just keep on going the same way and put the people away if they go too crazy, or just give them some medic to ease the pain. There we are. This is how we do it. We don't want the philosophers like back in Greece who thought about what is right, what is wrong. We don't want the religion in a good way. Religion has become a very bad sight taste because of all the stupid things the church did. Nobody is interested in the good and the right. It's boring. Virtuous people, righteous people, people with principles, they are weak. They can be exploited. They will be the fools who do the dirty work. And then some narcissistic idiot will say, oh, I did that work. He will take all the recognition for the whole work his team did, and he will say, oh, I did that. I have good people below me, but man, I did that. Yeah, this is where we live, okay? You all know this, I'm right. You know it. And this is nothing new, and yeah, Nietzsche saw this coming 100 years ago. He was ahead of his time, and he is still ahead of our time. Even people today are not ready to understand Nietzsche. And Nietzsche knew that also everybody has to heal. Everybody is traumatized because we are born in this world, and the world is already the way it is. And yeah, everybody has to make experiences in his life, painful experiences, and then there is just one difference amongst people. One type of people stays in the same circles, repeating circles, narrative circles, roles, and it is painful to leave a narrative circle and a role. It is painful to erase past memories, past experiences, and past patterns that are all interconnected, and do something different, do something new, not always do the same thing, and end up with the same narration, with the same description for what happened to you, and then you act the same way, and you go to the same place again, and it's all like always. And this is when you're healing. When you are healing, you completely break all old patterns, you leave old roles, you erase your past memories, your past narration. People will try to push you back with all force into your old role. The same with children. If you have children that are in these family patterns, so there's one idealized firstborn golden child that is pedestalized, and this is devastating for the child. It is like beating a child. It can have the same devastating effect on the child. Or there is the invisible child, scapegoat child, the black sheep. These children, when they have been established in this role, and you try to break them out of the role, and you say and even the pedestalized child, it realizes sometimes it is too much attention and too much responsibility that is loaded upon his shoulders, that it suffers from it silently. If you want to put it away from this role, the child will fight against it. Everybody wants to go back. Everybody wants no change. Everybody don't want to leave the comfort zone, because we have a thick skin whenever we are in our old role, in our old comfort zone. And the invisible child, if you put it into the light, if you say, all right, you have to say now what you want, it will want to go back into the following role, into please everybody, into do that what everybody wants in order to create harmony. It does not know how to speak for itself. And it doesn't want to, because it hurts. It has a very thick skin in its own role, but when it goes out, it has that thin skin. Like everybody, if you do something new, you can enjoy it for some time, but then you will feel it is painful. It means to face fears. And most people don't want to go this path consistently in order to develop themselves, to heal. This means healing. And Nietzsche understood that there is the two ways. Everybody needs to heal, go on this journey. This is the Zarathustra. Zarathustra, Thus Spoke Zarathustra, is the book that describes what all the enlightenment streams on YouTube call a chosen one. Yes, man. And this is the book of a healing person. All Nietzsche's life was himself being a person that heals until he bursted under the pressure of what he put upon his fate. He bursted. He was brave until the end, and then he broke down. But he did a monumental thing because he gave us a lot of clues and insights in the human psyche. He inspired a handful of the biggest geniuses or the most impactful people of psychology coming after him. Yeah. Anyway, and to me, Nietzsche understood that healing, everybody needs to heal. And when you heal and you come to a certain degree of, completely understanding yourself, your past, what happened, why you are the way you are, and you start to do this, you will start being pushed out of the toxic society where nobody is healing, and it's not of interest. It's not of interest. The hierarchy system in the society is based on money and status and things you achieved in this materialistic society. And if there's somebody comes who has a very high level of personal development, he has another kind of hierarchy. He is a high level personality, and this personality will be alienated and will trigger a lot of people because they are used to look down based on their system of hierarchy. They will say, I am this or that status because of this and that. And this person will say, well, I understand it and this is fine. But I will just look in your eyes on the same level as you are. And if you blame me for something, I show you why you blame me. And then it's the point where they can't take it no more. When they project, then it starts to project their own unhealed pains and problems and patterns on this healing person. And they can't stand the person for a long time without, going back to these games of blaming the person. And when they feel their own unhealed pain, they want to inflict pain on that person. And when the person does not want to take that pain back, like revenge, it's like a revenge. If you as a healed person or healing person trigger the unhealed pains of people who are going in the circles that you went past by, that you just outgrew, they will probably want a revenge on you. They want to inflict the same pain on you, or they don't simply want you to be positive and not dealing. It simply is unfair. They are in some way jealous, or they think it's unfair that you just be past that you do what you do, and they will say, hey, it's an insult. I have this high status, I have this status above you, but you seem to be above me. How is that? It just confuses them, makes them crazy, and this and that. And Nietzsche was aware of this. And basically, in these times, what I said in the beginning, when in the states, in the population, or when it was interest of the state that people have personal development. In the ancient Greek, it was the philosophers, and in other times, it was when being with God was a positive thing, or in India, still to this day, spiritual development and personal development is highly regarded. Whenever it was highly regarded and the state was interested in people having high levels of understanding of themselves and the world, in these times, God could give the people who were like this. You still follow me? God could give them the faith they need to still stand their ground. Even if there is a lot of negativity, even if a lot of people see it as a weakness when you are virtuous and righteous and going on this narrow path, even if nobody around you seems to be on your level, you still know you are right. You stubbornly, unshakingly, unflinchingly. Nobody can ever get you out of track once you have a certain understanding. And this role of, because you're not this person is not stubborn in a delusional way, but it was the being with God. It was like Jesus or saints. They knew, they felt this love within them, and this love was God. And Nietzsche saw this dying in the people, and he wanted to give them something as how can we go on? How can we keep humanity positive if this is happening? And he invented the Ubermensch to do this. And I repeat what I read already. Truly, a dirty stream is man. One must be an ocean to be able to absorb a dirty stream without becoming unclean oneself. See, I teach you the Ubermensch. He is this ocean. In him can your great disdain perish. So, the great disdain, the contempt, the hate, this means that how people are triggered, how people are envious, maliciously envious, how they want to stay in their patterns. They are being tempted when they come to a healing person. They are tempted to follow up, to be elevated, and they will enjoy it for a while, but then they will become afraid and envious and will want to go back. And then they feel the pain that they are being left behind, and they will project all the pain on this person, the unhealed pain, into the person. They want revenge. They want to inflict pain. They will feel hate, basically. And Nietzsche knew this. And this is why Nietzsche said, if you don't have God, that saves you from this. You want to elevate. You want to be positive. And if you don't have God that saves you from it, that takes you, that walks with you, then you need that mindset. You integrate God. You become the Ubermensch, who is ready to take the toxicity within himself and understands it. Understands everybody, but this is so energetically draining. And you even have to leave some kind of mercy behind, that way of mercy and feeling with others. So you feel with others. You are merciful, you are forgiving. But it doesn't mean that you break down and cry whenever somebody is left behind. And this is exactly what happened to Nietzsche when he broke down. It was a situation when he saw a man who was riding with a horse. The horse was in front of that vehicle, and he was beating at the horse, and this was Nietzsche broke down. He went outside and he threw himself in front of that horse that has been mistreated, and this was his mental breakdown. So he taught us that we cannot do this, that we cannot be held back by that, because the suffering in the world is infinite. And our ability to feel with that suffering is infinite as well. So we have to... This is one of the skills that the Ubermensch will have to learn, and this is what Zarathustra is confronted with too in the book. Thus spoke Zarathustra, because a lot of people are held back and broken by this so-called weakness of empathy. Right? And Nietzsche in the end was having the same dramatic breakdown because he felt with that horse and broke. Inside something broke. That's tough. Yeah. So I think this is enough for today. I didn't say everything I want to say by far, but it's enough for today. So Nietzsche wanted to give human an idea of a mindset that you need in order to heal and stay positive and become positive and elevate and personally develop in a world where you will be isolated for doing so, be exposed for doing so, and everybody who meets you, or most people, will try to stop you and keep you down. And this has always been that way. But back in the time of humanity, the love of God was what kept the people going. And Nietzsche saw this dying, so he wanted to give people the Ubermensch. Hallelujah. Amen. In the name of Jesus.